do that, son. Hello and welcome to Home Park for this week's match. It is Argyle against Fleetwood Town. This is our third home game of the new Sky Bet League One season, and we're very pleased to have you with us on Argyle TV today. We're going to be building up to the action over the next hour or so before kick-off at 3 p.m. And coming up, we're going to hear from Ryan Lowe on his side's preparations for today's game. We'll also be having a word with Academy scholar Rhys Shirley as he relives his first senior goal, which took place on Tuesday night. And we're also going to be joined by Paul Rowe, the new head of recruitment and development in Cornwall for the Argyle Academy. But now, let me introduce you to our guest for today. It's former Argyle left-back and current youth coach, Ryan Dixon. Ryan, how are you?
Yeah, really good. Obviously excited to come and watch the game, and yeah, hopefully the boys can obviously continue their strong start to the season they've had.
Yeah, and it's lovely weather for the game today, isn't it? This is kind of like peak Saturday afternoon Argyle, isn't it?
Yeah, we're kind of having a late summer, if you like. But yeah, no, picked a good day, I think, to come, that's for sure.
I think so. So are you excited about the game? Have you kind of been around the last few games?
Yeah, I've been doing a bit for the radio. I'm involved with the youth setup here as well. So yeah, I've been keeping an eye on the start, obviously, we've been having, and strong start, obviously. And hopefully we can carry that on with the strikers getting goals, and yeah, I mean, hopefully we can carry that on today.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, obviously, I've just mentioned who you are, but obviously this role that you've got, could you just explain a little bit to our audience what that involves?
Yeah, so that transition from football recently, I've just stopped playing at Truro. Got a little bit too old, if you like, and it was time really to call it a day. So I took that first step, if you like, towards coaching. I've really enjoyed it. The setup here now is, it's definitely moving forward with, today we had Neil and the chairman along watching the youth teams, so there is going to be a lot of heavy involvement and progression in that direction, which, as you can see, with the first team at the moment, with obviously Rhys Shirley and Jeffs, and there's a lot of lads getting that opportunity, which is great.
Yeah, and good or bad leaving Truro? How do you feel?
Stop playing football is always tough. Really
Yeah.
enjoyed my time there towards the end. But yeah, no, I was ready to hang up my boots and take that next step, if you like, towards coaching.
Yeah, and now, very fortunately, we've got you here on Argyle TV with us this afternoon too. We've got team news on the way very shortly, but first, as I mentioned, let's hear from the manager, Ryan Lowe, on his thoughts ahead of today's game.
Well, expecting a tough game, of course, Charles. I think every game we play against any League One opposition, even Championship of late, they're always going to be tough games. It's not going to be no difference on Saturday against the Fleetwood team. Simon's gone in there, he's recruited well, experience, and they're going to be a tough outfit to beat. But what we've got to do is worry about ourselves. If we can play anywhere like we've been playing of late, especially at home, I think we'll be okay.
Now, you mentioned their recruitment. They've also got a captain, a guy that Jordan Rossiter. They've got some really good players in there, haven't they? They've got their first win as well on the weekend, so you expect them to start picking up points.
Yeah, they will pick up points again. The Simon Grayson team always picks up points and always does well in any league, and as for Geordie, he's a top class pro. He's a fantastic kid and he's a fantastic player, and along with a few others, Callum Camps, they've got certainly Danny Andrew, they've got some quality in there. The keeper's been there for a while, Cairns. They've got a good blend of quality and a little bit of youth in there as well, a little bit similar to us. So we know it's going to be a tough encounter. It's one we're looking forward to. We want to get back on a streak of picking points up, and we're certainly looking forward to it because it'll be a good game.
And it's back at Home Park as well, and we've had a great start here, the Fortress.
We've got to entertain the crowd. We've got to do what we do best, and that's play our football and do the right things and create chances and to lift the crowd. But as you say, it's our own form, own park. We want to make sure that it is a bit of a fortress. We don't want to be beaten here at all if possible, but if we do, we don't want to be beaten many times, because we feel if you can pick your points up at home and certainly take some points away from home, it bodes you in good stead. So that'll be the key, that'll be the aim, but we're not taking Fleetwood for granted. We know it's going to be a tough encounter.
It's been a busy start to the season, lots of games. Once we get past this one, we finally get a little break. I suppose that's a good thing for you, for the players, just to kind of take stock and go from there.
Yeah, well, we've had a few little niggling injuries of late, haven't we? And a bit of tiredness. I think 6 games in 18 days or something, was it? Something along them lines. So we know the games have come thick and fast, and look, we've got another tough game on Saturday to deal with first and foremost, and then we'll have 2 weeks to the following game at Sheffield Wednesday at Home Park, which will be another great encounter. But we'll get the lads some recovery in there. It's the first time the club's had an international break for a while, I think, so that'll be nice. It'll be nice for the lads who go away on international duty as well, and for us to support them. But ultimately it'll be about that time. It'll be about still training but not as hard, and we'll get a bit of freshness into the legs and a bit of recovery in there. So yeah, we'll have a look at that after Saturday, but we're looking forward to Saturday, and once that's over with, then we can plan the weeks.
And the importance of going into that little break with a decent result, 3 points is key, isn't it? Yeah,
well listen, it's not, we've got to work hard for points. So as I said to you, Simon Grayson's teams, they don't roll over. They're good outfits and well drilled, and we've got to be on our best. It'll always be nice to finish off in terms of before the international weekend with points, definitely. But we'll put the game plan together with the boys, and we'll make sure that they're well drilled for it, and hopefully we can do that Saturday afternoon.
Welcome back. A clip from Ryan Lowe there ahead of today's game. We have just received the team news, so let's go through the starting 11 for Argyle this afternoon. We have got Michael Cooper in goal, Macaulay Gillespie, Jordan Houghton, Dan Scarr, Ryan Broom, Joe Edwards, Ryan Hardy, Connor Grant, Brendan Galloway, Panucci Kamara and Luke Jeffcott there. So that'll be staying on your screen for a little while, just so you can soak it all in, see who your starting 11 are this afternoon. Speaking to Ryan a moment ago, it doesn't seem like there's too many changes, because we seem to have a pretty good team on the go. Ryan, what do you make of what we're seeing today?
Yeah, exactly that, Erin. I think there's no real need to change a winning team. So he's kept the same side, obviously, with Brendan Galloway coming in for James. So yeah, he's obviously done well. There's no real need to change that winning side and that clean sheet and goals that they've been scoring. So yeah, fingers crossed it's a strong side and they can continue and build on that today.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about Shirley a little bit later on, but he's on the bench today, scored a goal in the last game they played. What do you make of him being on the team?
I think any lad that's obviously come through the youth setup and you see him score, it's what every Plymouth fan wants, and it can only be good for the football club. There's been a lot of, like I said, effort and let's say money, if you like, put in towards the youth team more now, and you can definitely see the reaping the rewards, and everyone obviously extremely happy for the kid, and it's credit to the likes of Darren Way and Jamie Lowry, maybe more so the mental side of football, I think, preparing him to play for a big club like Plymouth. That's more, I'm guessing, the challenges young players face these days coming into the first team, rather than their technical ability, because a lot of players have that technical ability. It's more now, can they deal with that pressure, and he certainly can.
Amazing. And of course we've got Hardy and Jeffcott as well in the lineup. Understandably, they've had a great few games so far, haven't they? Exactly.
And Rando as well has obviously come in and done really well when he's been involved. So the future's definitely looking bright for Plymouth in terms of youth. And they don't look out of place at all, and they're now making themselves regulars, which is great.
Amazing. And speaking of that, it has been a great start to the season so far for the Pilgrims. We have 7 points from our first 4 league matches, so let's take a look at one of those, and that is the win over Shrewsbury. a great 3-0 win against Shrewsbury there, just some of the highlights from that game. Ryan, 3-0 against Shrewsbury, pretty good game, wouldn't you say?
Yep, if you like, they've consolidated themselves in that league, Shrewsbury, in League One. So a good away performance, and to get 3 goals away from home and a clean sheet is always vital. Not surprised from what I've seen at home regarding the 2 strikers, how they've started this season. Very race and chase, lots of energy, like balls in behind, and certainly been a threat. So, yeah, like I said, no surprise whatsoever in the start they've had, especially away from home.
Yeah, and as we were saying before, both Hardy and Jeffcott scoring goals there, 2 for Hardy, 1 for Jeffcott. Is there ever like an element of competition between strikers scoring goals?
I think they say there isn't, but there always is. Strikers are strikers, they're selfish, if you like, and they want to do well. And that's their job at the end of the day, is to be selfish and score goals, which they're both doing. But on the other hand, they are both very willing runners and very good team players, and the effort they put in, especially off the ball, is huge and vital, especially the way Ryan Lowe wants to play. So no, credit to both of them the way they started, and fingers crossed they can, the tallies can keep climbing.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see a few more goals popped into the net today. How important is it to get, a 3-0 win as well? It's quite a substantial lead over the opposition. How important is it to get something like that this early in the season away from home, like you said?
Exactly that. I think their confidence always builds more when you score away from home, because it's obviously a lot harder without your own fans. So they both get a lot of confidence from that, and especially more important really is the clean sheet. If you go away from home, you're scoring 3 goals, you keep a clean sheet, you can expect to win games.
Yeah.
I think that the players, especially that Ryan's brought in their back line, that experience, like I said, James Wilson being out as well, who I know well, he's definitely recruited well in defence. So I'm not surprised that they've kept clean sheets away from home. And then there's always something then to build on, which the strikers certainly have done.
Yeah, so let's talk about Argyle's defensive play as well, because of course, as you've mentioned, clean sheets, it's something that's very good to kind of have in your back pocket. What are the defensive kind of strengths that Argyle have, would you say?
I think now they've got men, if you like, which is no disrespect to the lads who were in before. They were learning their trade and were certainly good footballers. But they've brought in experienced players that have been there and done it, and are also extremely comfortable on the football. James Wilson, very good technical football player, calm as you like. And the same with Gillespie, what I've seen. Galloway I haven't seen so much of, obviously, 'cause he's just recently come into the team. And obviously then they've got big Scars at the back, who, if you like, is more of an old-fashioned centre-half to protect the middle of the pitch. Ryan's recruited well, and obviously he knows that that's a vital area for him.
Yeah, and it's important to mention as well, you're going to be joining Rob McNichol up in the commentary box this afternoon, aren't you? What do you think you're going to see unfolding in front of you from a commentary perspective today?
Hopefully lots of goals and an entertaining game. Like I said, to be fair, it's fairly easy to commentate on Plymouth because of the way they play. They do like to get the ball down and pass, and they are entertaining when things go right. It's something obviously I've enjoyed. I'm new to it, but love Plymouth, and I should obviously enjoy the day, hopefully.
I suppose it helps with your history with the club as well, and all things like that. So you said it's not something you've actually done before?
I've done it on and off throughout my career.
Okay.
So when I've been injured at certain clubs like Brentford, I've done it quite a lot at Yeovil, but I haven't quite got the experience, if you like. Years of experience, let's say. It's just been here, there and everywhere really, but it's something that when you get the chance to watch football matches, who wouldn't do it? Yeah,
fantastic. Well, thank you for talking to us about that, Ryan. We've just spoken about Argyle's defensive play, and one person who is going to be delighted with the improved defensive play is, of course, Mike Cooper. Here he is.
It's been a quite hectic start to the season, continuing on from the end of pre-season when we was going Saturday, Tuesday as well. So, as a physical standpoint, it's been quite hard. But in terms of being able to gel together as a team, the more games we've had, the easier it's become to learn how we all play and get a good understanding of each other. Yeah. Quite pleased with the clean sheet so far. And I still feel like the goals we conceded were quite unlucky. The penalty, rebound, and first game of the season was quite fortunate for them if you look at the goals back. But no, yeah, we're just going to keep looking to continue the defensive form that we've currently got. Yeah.
That penalty, We spoke on the podcast, didn't we, about the fact that I think last season it was 7 penalties, no saved, 2 out of 2 so far this season, and it's just annoying it went straight back. It must be so gutting actually for a keeper.
Yeah, it's just one of them. Like, if you forget he's only 12 yards away and he can strike it as hard as he can. Unlucky for me, it was just a bit too tight into my body, and my hands couldn't. Like, if it was a better penalty, it would have actually gone wider. But it's just the way it is. Yeah.
Let's talk about the dressing room at the moment. Lots of local lads in there. Lots of youngsters coming through. Obviously, yourself and Japs were last season. Now got Rands and Lawsey and Reese coming through. It must be quite nice to have that sort of Plymouth clan around.
Yeah, 100%. Nance says it all the time. He said it for the last few years. He wants more West Country boys playing in the side. So, yeah, exactly. So, for example, even seeing Reese score the other night was brilliant. It's just another lad coming through, and hopefully he can kick on. But any time academy players are coming through Argyle, it's always amazing, and it's what the club really want for the future. So yeah.
You kind of mentioned the kind of gelling that the squad's doing at the moment, and I've heard that there's quite a competitive Uno scene on the bus on the way home. Are you part of that?
Yeah, I am. I'd say I'm one of the better players personally. Yeah, a few would disagree with that. Actually, I would as well. I'm not very good, as results recently would say. But no, the Uno definitely makes the journeys a bit easier and go a bit faster.
Is there actually like a leaderboard or anything? Do you keep tabs on who does win?
No, it's competitive, but it's trip by trip. So it'll be on the way up game, on the way back game, different stakes for different days. But it's the same players more or less. So there's like, it does get a bit personal sometimes. But no, it's really enjoyable.
Who is the one to beat at Uno then? Surely it's luck of the cards, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's because I hate saying it, and for me it's pure luck. But I think Joe and Shu and Ryan Hardy, they're probably the three that always end up winning, which is really annoying. But yeah, hopefully I can actually get a win soon, because I'm about £100 down. Just terrible.
You are watching Argyle TV with me, Erin Black. We are here building up to the 3 p.m. kickoff for Argyle versus Fleetwood Town. Fleetwood Town just running onto the pitch behind me. We've got the players warming up, getting ready for the match, which will be with us in just over half an hour. Don't forget, for those of you that are watching, perhaps on our YouTube or on Argyle TV, we would still love to hear from you. So you can send us a tweet. We are on Twitter at @only1argyle. We're on Instagram as well, and of course Plymouth Argyle on Facebook too. So send us a message, let us know where you're watching from or what you're up to this afternoon. Sometimes we've got people like living it up on holiday, also watching Argyle TV. Love to hear a bit of that. So let me know what you're up to. But just to remind you, Argyle against Fleetwood Town. We're building up the action right now before kickoff at 3 p.m. That's right, you're watching Argyle TV, and the Pilgrims are back in action today against Fleetwood Town, having bowed out of the cup in the midweek against Swansea City, which was a shame, but fantastic first senior goal for Reece Shirley, which we'll look at in a moment. It was a youthful team that took to the field in South Wales, and this is how they got on. Sadly, wasn't to be for Argyle on that game, but what a night to remember for youngster Reece Shirley. Only 18 years old, he has been part of every matchday squad so far this season and scored his first senior goal there against Swansea. This is what he thought about it.
The best feeling ever, definitely the best feeling ever, yeah. I remember Rans picking up the ball and he sort of whipped one in. And I've sort of seen it coming over and I think, oh, it's going to come back post here, so I've sort of just come in and arrived at the right time and the ball's gone in, yeah. Being able to look up and see all the fans just celebrating with me, it was really special. I wouldn't say it's been playing on my mind, but I think I've definitely been looking forward to the moment because I knew it was going to come at some point. So sort of every sort of game, I'm thinking maybe I'm going to get an opportunity here, and tonight I did, and thankfully I took it. Just coming here was a joy anyway, being able to play in a stadium like this, but to get a goal here as well has just made it even better, really.
Have you been able to look at your phone since you've gone back in the change room?
Nope, I haven't looked at it yet.
What are you expecting?
I don't know what I'm expecting actually. I'm not quite sure.
I remember seeing your dad after the Saltash game. I think when you scored it in the pre-season friendly, and he had a massive smile on his face. I imagine he will, and your family will be immensely proud. I don't know whether you have anything you want to say to them at all.
Yeah, just massive thanks to them. Everything that has happened for me over the last few years is because of them driving me everywhere and being there, just being there for me. So it's a massive thanks to them, really.
What a moment for Reece Shirley there, eh? Well, I'm delighted to say that I am now joined by Paul Rowe, who's the new head of recruitment and development for Cornwall. Paul, explain this new role, because we were just saying while that VT was playing, about 3 weeks in the job for you. What does it entail and how are you finding it?
So obviously as a football club, we're trying to bring as many youngsters through from our catchment as we can, and we've kind of recognised that Cornwall is a vast county, and some of the commitment that it takes for the parents and from the players to sort of make it into the Ivy Bridge sort of academy training session 3 times a week is vast, and sometimes for some parents it's too much. So we're opening 2 hubs now in Cornwall, one in Penryn and one in Bodmin, which I'll be heading up and running, and I'll be in charge of the recruitment for those and just making sure that more Reece Shirleys come through to the first team.
Wow, so we were just mentioning Reece Shirley, which we had a clip of them. What do you make of him? Not bad for a youngster.
Brilliant. When I saw that, I was keen to see the goal. When I saw it on social media, the excitement that must have been, and the anticipation that must have been going through his head as that ball was travelling across, but to keep his nerve and watch the ball onto his foot and control the finish just marks him down for probably a bit of a special talent. So
yeah.
Always thrilled when one of our own, if you like, scores, and to take the goal that well, it is fantastic.
Is there like an added element of pressure being 18 years old? So young, really, isn't it? Or do they kind of all just take it in their stride?
I think the pressure comes if things aren't going so well. But the beauty of being a local lad that's sort of breaking through is that you tend to get a bit longer sort of grace from the supporters as well. That's helpful. And I think, and everyone's so keen for the youngsters to do well that if it doesn't sort of happen right away, there's no real pressure. But to get one like that so soon in your career is absolutely fantastic for him.
Yeah, and Reece from Cornwall. We've got Jeffcott, born in Wales but brought up in Cornwall. What is the talent scene looking like in Cornwall?
Very good. Obviously, it's coming through and recognising it, but my role is to make sure that there are plenty more Luke Jeffcotts coming through. And hopefully that's the case. Luke's from a part of the county that it's very difficult to get players up to the academy regularly, and often they kind of go under the radar. A lot of them play rugby down that way, so yeah. We're really going to hit hard down in our Penryn centre to make sure that we have got all the very best talents, and Luke Jeffcott isn't a one-off. We're going to have plenty more coming through, and to have somebody like Luke as a sort of a figurehead for that part of the county is fantastic for us as well, and hopefully that can inspire some of the other youngsters down there to follow in his footsteps.
How do you go about kind of generating that talent then? Is it like visiting schools? Is it setting up, events? Yeah,
so for me, it's a combination of a lot of things. Watching club football. Some of them will be in our system already, that we just got to make sure that we're maximising their potential as well, and that's where my development side of it comes in. But yeah, going and watching players that aren't in our pathway as well, and making sure that Plymouth Argyle, being the most local club to everyone in Cornwall, is their natural pathway for every talented footballer there. So it's a vast sort of blank canvas that I've got, if you like, Can't wait to really get stuck in once those centres open next month.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, that's when it's really going to start kicking
Yeah,
off.
September the 7th down at Penryn, and then the following Tuesday on the 10th in Bodmin, Friday the 10th in Bodmin. So excited, really excited.
Yeah. Well, so then anyone young watching in Cornwall, keep your eyes peeled for the next couple of months. Now, of course, not everyone can be from Cornwall that ends up playing for Argyle. So what do you make of the youth setup as a whole so far?
Well, I've been involved as a parent. My two came through the academy system. Unfortunately, didn't quite make it at 15, both of them. And I've kind of been away from it for sort of 2 or 3 years that I've been here. Come back now, and it's so vibrant, forward-thinking. There's an energy about the place that maybe wasn't there before. So, and I'm just so thrilled to be able to get my chance to sort of come in and add to that as well.
Yeah.
And you only got to look at the team sheet today. You know, there's a smattering of lads that have come through the academy. And a special mention to a young lad, Finn Crass, who used to play for my under-7 side down in Weybridge when he was a little, and so it's lovely to see Finn walking out in front of me a minute ago as well. So great to see him on the bench today, and hopefully get some minutes.
Yeah, so it must be quite a competitive atmosphere, like you said, in the academy kind of age, where you've got the 15-year-olds, like you said, with your sons not quite making it. It must be a very kind of hard-fought environment to make it.
It's incredibly difficult, and when you add on the layer of extra sort of commitment, if you like, that the kids from Cornwall have had over the years, having to travel, you know, having to leave 2 hours earlier from matches and the Plymouth counterparts, having to sort of getting home 10, 11 o'clock at night, going to school the next day, eating meals in the back of the car. There's that added layer of sort of pressure and sacrifice that we're hoping to take away a little bit by opening these hubs down in Cornwall and making it a bit more of a realistic and pleasurable experience, even for those that don't make the journey more worthwhile as well in the long run.
Yeah, and are there any tips that you would give to up-and-coming kind of wannabe academy players on how they kind of make their mark on people like yourself?
Yeah, just be yourselves. If you see an academy scout or somebody sort of watching you or whatever, just don't try to be anything you haven't been. There's normally a reason why we're there to watch you. That's because we've been impressed with what you've been doing previously. So don't go trying to do anything different. Just make sure that you're doing the stuff that have got us there in the first place. Be yourself and enjoy your football, and hopefully things will work out right for you in the professional game.
Thank you, Paul. If you can stay with us for just a moment longer, we have been talking about the youth squad, obviously. So we'll stick with the academy for a moment. They had a great win over Bournemouth in the EFL Youth Alliance Cup just last weekend, and they have made an unbeaten start to their season, so very impressive indeed. Let's take a look at that win now and hear from the under-18s manager, Darren Way.
It was a great feeling for the players and staff. It's been hard work in terms of getting closer to the teams that have been ultra competitive at our level. So to play Oxford and then go to Bournemouth and pick up the result, and it being a cup game, you can imagine the feelings after the game. Our build-up to the week, it was making sure that the players maintained a huge amount of self-belief. We knew we were going to have to take ourselves to a place in terms of that enthusiasm, that energy level, and denying them time and space on the ball, because technically they are very good players, and if your timing's wrong, they will open you up. So I thought, from a defensive point of view, to keep a clean sheet against a Bournemouth team that are always the team that, against the opposition, they can open you up, because I think they beat Exeter 5-1 the week before. So we knew we had to be strong. To see what we put into practice throughout the week and some of the individual performances, Jack Endicott, Carlo Garside, there was Freddie Asaku jumped up to the 16s, players playing out of position. That was very rewarding.
You mentioned the clean sheet, and I think so far this season we've only conceded 1 goal in the games we've played, which is quite incredible.
Yeah, we've only conceded 1, and it was an area that we wanted to improve on last season. I think if we didn't concede as many goals last season, we would have finished in the top 3. So, that's an area we've been working on, and as I said, the players have put that into practice.
I suppose it's testament as well to the fact that they're taking on board everything that you and the rest of the coaches are saying, that has been a focus for you, and it's now coming into fruition.
It's very difficult as coaches to make sure you get the balance right at youth level between development and winning. And sometimes you don't want just to be concentrating on the winning and not getting the development. There's different ways to win a game. There's many different ways to win a game. Sometimes it could be that physical challenge. Sometimes you could win a game technically. So to get that balance right and get players developing at the same time and seeing those improvements for us as staff, when we know we're making progress.
I suppose if we don't concede, very unlikely to not pick up any sort of result, are you? This weekend, Swindon, back to league action. They've started really well, haven't they?
Yeah, they've started very well. You can imagine in terms of the club at the moment, they're going in a different direction than probably what they was, whether that was 8 or 9 weeks ago. They got a new manager. They're probably putting a new philosophy in place. Players have bought into that. I've watched 1 or 2 of their games, and every game at this level now will be a tough challenge for our players. I think going to Swindon, it's important that we meet the physical demands of the game, because we have played them away from home last season, and I felt not enough players turned up with the right pitch personality of what we've been looking for. So we've got to make sure that our attitude's right. It will be an early rise again, and we've had a few. We've done Liverpool away, we've done Southampton away, Bristol Rovers away. So we've had a Bournemouth away, so we've had a lot of away games, and I feel that test that we've had pre-season has enabled us to make sure we travel away and we travel strong, and our preparation's right going into the game.
Hello again, you are watching Argyle TV, and Paul Rowe, the head of youth development and recruitment in Cornwall, is very fortunately still with me because we have a few more things to talk about. Paul, you seem to have joined the team at a pretty good time, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, things are going well, especially from the academy point of view. They've had a few good results. They've also gone up to Oakham, the 16s, and won a tournament recently as well. It's really exciting. And the first team are going well, which is all good, and as a buzz about the place. And long may it continue. Hopefully we can continue that today against Fleetwood. Yeah,
and fantastic just to see in that VT how successful the under-18s have been. Successful academy means a successful team, does it not?
Yeah, absolutely. The more we can get through, of course it's a cheap way of doing it, we can get some players in as well, and hopefully the more we get in there, the more successful it will be. And like I said before, the crowd will get behind all the youngsters, and if you've got a smattering of players from Devon and Cornwall, it's going to get people into the club and hopefully push us up to the championship, which is the minimum of where we want to be.
Fantastic. And we've seen a lot of youngsters coming through into the first team. Does that excite you, seeing that?
Absolutely, and hopefully it excites the young players in Cornwall even more than me. It's achievable, and a lot of the sort of recognition for it has to go to the gaffer as well, because sometimes within the club in the past, players have got to a certain level, and it's that next big step of actually trusting them to put them in the first team, and that's huge. And it just looks like that Ryan's doing that now. So it's exciting for everybody, and everybody within the system can see that some of the lads that are having success. And that's a vital point as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom then, Paul, on all things Argyle Academy. And it's been lovely to chat from you. No doubt we'll see more Cornish footballers coming through the system soon. Just to remind you, of course, you're watching Argyle TV. I'm Erin Black, and we are heading up to kick-off 3 p.m. for Fleetwood Town against Plymouth Argyle. That is our third kit, which is on sale right now. I might have to get my hands on one of those, perhaps, if anyone's watching and listening. Third kit for me, thank you very much. You can get it yourself online or at the Argyle Superstore, which is just outside the ground. We'll probably see quite a few of them inside the ground today because they have been snapped up already. Anyway, Ryan Dixon back with me here to talk about Fleetwood Town, our opposition today. But before we take a look at their lineup for this afternoon's game, let's see how they fared in their last match against Cheltenham. A 3-2 win over Cheltenham last weekend, which was their first win of the season. Let's have a little look at the Fleetwood Town lineup for this afternoon. We'll just run through some of those names, and then Ryan and, well, mostly Ryan and me will to talk about them. So we have got Alex Cairns in goal, Danny Andrew, Tom Clark, Darnell Johnson, Callum Morton, Callum Camps, Jordan Rossiter, Harrison Holgate, Jed Gardner, Shaden Morris and Harrison Biggins as the starting 11. Ryan, any names standing out to you? What do you make of the team?
Yeah, it looks like to me that they're going to go with a back four and probably come here for a draw, I feel. Obviously they won their last game, but have had a bit of a dodgy start playing with three at the back, so it looks like they're certainly going to make a change. In terms of their team and their threats, Callum Morton come across as a young lad. He was at Yeovil. He's gone on to have obviously a very good career. Done extremely well for Northampton against Plymouth, maybe I think it was a couple of seasons ago. So yeah, he's certainly a threat and someone that we need to watch out for. And then Anthony Pilkington on the bench is a well-known name in football. So he has certainly got a lot of talent of a higher standard, and that calibre hopefully can stay on the bench for him.
So what do you think might be the outcome today? Because obviously you've mentioned a few standout names there, but they've only just kind of started their wins for this season.
I think that's it. I think defensively they're going to be strong. They're going to look to shut up shop and come here with hopefully keep a clean sheet and nick goals on the break. Like I said, with Morton, he's certainly a willing runner like we have up front. So it might be a lot of an end-to-end game and a lot of chances, hopefully.
And what are the main things that Argyle need to do today?
For me, exploit wide areas and play forward quickly. I feel as if that's maybe our threat, if you like, in games, and certainly our strength. So need to do it early on in games. Can we get them turned early, use our pace of our two strikers and play in behind and test them early, because they obviously were leaking goals early in their first few games.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us, Ryan. You're going to be popping off to the commentary box in just a second because it's almost 15 minutes till the game. So I will thank you and I will leave you to enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Now, of course, Argyle isn't the only game that's happening this afternoon. There are plenty going on. So let me just run through you some of the other fixtures happening today. We have got Rotherham against Doncaster, Cambridge against Bolton, Charlton against Crewe, Ipswich against AFC Wimbledon, MK Dons against Accrington Stanley, Morecambe against Sheffield Wednesday, Oxford against Lincoln, Shrewsbury against Gillingham, Sunderland against Wickham, and Wigan versus Portsmouth. So those are your roundups of all the games today. And that's it, really. We're almost ready to go. Like I said, I make it almost 15 minutes until kickoff, so we're going to be handing over to Ryan and Rob McNichol to take over commentary duties. So just a very quick reminder, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure, and you're watching abroad, of course, make sure you head over to Argyle TV, because you will be able to watch the entirety of the game over on Argyle TV, pafc.co.uk. And for those of you watching in the UK, still head over to Argyle TV and you can catch audio commentary done by Ryan and Rob of the whole game. And that's it from me. I'll see you at half time. Thank you very much for joining us in the build up to this game. It is Argyle against Fleetwood and it's coming up next.